Hello, sweet friends, welcome. Today I decided to do a little walkthrough of the dining room because I finished last night decorating it. Well, finished for now. You know how it goes. I'll probably end up changing up a little bit of things, but I wanted to give you a little walkthrough then and there. And then I may do a little walkthrough of the kitchen too, but I wanted to do little short tours of those two rooms, and then I will be doing a whole home tour of the whole house, and that one will probably be music only. So I thank you so much for stopping by, and let's go walk around the dining room. All right, we'll start with this little area right here that leads into the dining room. I put that tree, that's usually the one that's in the in front of the fireplace. This year, I decided to put it in this old bucket, and I wasn't able to put the base on it, so I have it all like towels all around it at the base. These lights do not flash. Yeah, so the lights don't flick on and off. It's just when you're recording, sometimes it looks that way. I consider this my prim tree. There's a lot of handmade ornaments from my blogging days when we used to do ornament swaps. It's cute. Those are 3 also from back in the day. And then I made him, this little guy. And there's another one. Oh, down there. I made him down there. This is one of my favorite Crocs. I got that years ago for $50, which we all know how good of a deal that was. And then this is my little desk. But I tell you, I was watching Tanya add a little charm and a lot of sass. She shares her desk, and she has all these little, I don't know, like postcards and little Christmassy things all over it. So I'm going to probably be working on mine and adding a little bit more to it because I just thought that that was just so cute. Along with something I did in the kitchen too was inspired by her. So I will be sharing that and pointing out what that is when we get to it. This is where I put one of my new treasures. So, and then this leads into the view of the dining room. And I tried to do some things different in there. And some things are the same, some things I've changed up. Like the idea of putting the sled on the table with the wreath on top of it. Now, I did that last year, but I had a different Santa in the center, and I had candles instead of this tree. But Brett bought this tree, I don't know, about a week or 2 ago. He brought this home from work, and look at that little cardinal in there. And so I had candles on here, and then when I got thinking about this tree, and I thought, yeah, that'd look really cute. So that's where I put his little tree that he bought. So, and then I added the little, him holding one of the matching candy canes. And I don't know where I got that little sign. I got it probably at an antique store or something, thrift store. Then I just put these wreaths on the back of these 2 chairs with ribbon. And these stockings, last year I had them on my fireplace in the living room, but this year there's not going to be any stockings on there. So anyway, I thought that they looked cute hanging off those chairs. I'm trying to watch how much I zoom in and out. But it's hard to talk and film at the same time. So this is my other little tree. I usually have this tree in my shopping cart, but I thought I'd do something different this time. And I turned this barrel upside down and just sat it on there. And then I just have this little shovel that I found sitting in front of it. But most of these stockings, like 99.9% of these stockings on here are the old ones. And I would say most of the ornaments on here are true vintage ones too. Those candy canes are not. They're not new, but they're not vintage. And neither are the little pipe cleaner Santas. Those are reproduction. Isn't this cute? Look what this is. This is stringed aluminum foil. Mom and I got some of that, I think a couple of years ago at, that's an oldie there, at a local antique store. I believe, by the looks of it, I believe that it is vintage, but that could easily be made now. Just get you some string and a needle and crumple up aluminum foil. And it just looks so cute. So there is that tree. And then over here, I didn't do much. I hung a little topper greenery piece above that copper mold. And I did hang this little bitty wreath on this. And then there's my new toll tray that I recently got. And up here, I didn't know if I should have added more greens or trees or maybe none at all. Because I wasn't wanting to, I don't know. I wasn't wanting to have too much. I've tried this year. I actually have a lot of stuff I did not use. But I tried to not go overboard. But at the same time, it is me, and I do like my stuff. So there's that new sampler I got. And then I just did this little tree. That one. I don't remember if I showed you those, but when I bought that stuff from my friend's house, I got those ornaments too. This little sheep in there. So cute. And then I just have a little vintage child's book sitting back there. And these ornaments on here, the cinnamon ones and the clay, painted clay ones, I have had those for so many years. It's got to be getting close to 20 years. It was in my previous house that I got those. And I just wrap them up in tissue paper and keep them in the house. And they have made it. Even the ones me and my daughter made in the early 2000s. Now, they look kind of worn, the ones me and her made, but they're still, I've still got them and I still use them. I'll show them. They're on other trees and in the kitchen. And then up here, I did put a garland up this year on each side. They don't have lights. I like lighted garland better, but I had these two matching ones. So I put them up there, and then I added just some little orange slices to it. And then I have just this little Santa candy container. He's not an antique, but I would say he's getting close to vintage because I've had him for so long. But that is an antique book there. And in here, I didn't add a lot into my cabinets this year. I put that little fake book and some bottle brush trees. Those little sheep ornaments, I leave those out all year. And then there's some more little trees. Then I had some little vintage children's, like that is one of those blowy things with the paper. And there's another little vintage toy. And then there is a little candy cane in that one. And a little Santa. And that's my childhood stocking, that little one that says my name. My sister and I, that was our stockings our entire lives at home. So I just hung that off there. And then there's where I put my new to me antique desk. I have to shut the blind so that we can see it better. I was going to put it on that table next to the scale, but it wouldn't fit. So I've just added, this is a true antique book here. And then I had this Christmas sampler that I've had forever. It used to be in a frame, but I decided just to take it out and lay it. And then that little gingerbread is from my blogging days when we used to do ornament swaps. And then in here, I just have a crock and some fake greens, a little homespun wrap candy cane. Then that book back there is a fake one. It's a box book. So yeah, the lighting is just so poor, especially right now. It's crazy. Over here, I had to put my stack of baskets on this side, and then that's just a old candle, and that's the box it came in. And I added the little tree. And then there's the matching garland over here. And I just added orange slices to this one too. And then this little guy I've had forever. I put him on this side. And some reproduction little molds and some trees. And that is my only true old sheep. He is an oldie. So I put that little wreath on his head or on his neck. And like I said, just some little trees and molds. And I also wanted to point out, I've got this paper inside my cabinets. It's like shredded up brown. And I got that idea from Michelle at Uniquely Vintage You. I'm sure all of you already follow her, but if you don't, be sure to check her and her sister Cheryl out at Uniquely Vintage You. And then I also added this piece of quilt this year. You may have noticed I had another piece of it under the table in a basket on the other side, but it has wonderful Christmas colors of red and green. So I just have it tied with a piece of string hanging off that peg, and then I just fanned out the top. And then this year in my shopping cart, I put these molds. So that's what I did instead of doing the tree. Then of course, my collection of rolling pins. This sled here is a true old sled. I got that years ago from a vendor when I had my shop, and it has the most wonderful red old paint. And so I just hung that Santa and stocking off it. This little corner here, I have my old big Santa and just a little stocking, cookie mold. And then this year I added a tree to that crock butter churn. Underneath here's where I have my big bowl. So I took the molds out and put them back in the dough box. That is a reproduction picnic tin from Tractor Supply. I got either last year or the year before. These are some fake cakes, or not cakes, fake pies that I got off Etsy years and years and years ago. I just ran them under water real quick to get the dust that settles. But it's real pie crust, and it's just been, I guess, shellacked. But they've held up. Now these, that light colored one, that's one that me and my daughter made in the early 2000s. The rest I just bought many years ago. And I've put them in a bowl here. And then you can see the poor babies that my daughter and I made. I think it was made like in 2000 and I don't know. It was 2006, 2004, something like that. Which is probably the same time limit that the rest of that I bought these other ones. But her and I made all the light colored ones. And that's just a little battery operated tree. I have no idea where I got it. And then up here, I just have, it's like a little topper piece. And I have a little hook up there that I hung it off of. And then I just put some fake greens in this box. And then that piece of natural wood bead garland, I just draped across there. And that Santa head, I am not even sure where that come from. I've had that so long. I've gotten where I can't remember where things come from. I used to be able to remember everything, where it come from, how much it was, but I just can't anymore. It's like my brain's all filled up. And so it had to get rid of things that I didn't need to remember. All right, sweet friends, let's take a little peek into what I've done in the kitchen. Now, I added quite a bit more to my window garland that I do every year. I added some more cookie cutters and also those dough ornaments that my daughter and I made years ago. And then also some picks and sprigs in there. Oh, and that little brush. What that is just a piece of garland. I actually got the piece of garland from Goodwill years ago, and I added lights to it. Then I just added spice tins and utensils and pot holders and anything kitchen-y that I could find. And I just hot glued on the back of the spice tins. I just hot glued the little, the Christmas spriggy things you can buy at Walmart, you know, that are like pipe cleaners, but they're Christmassy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I just hot glued those on there and then just tied it on. And the rest, some of them are just twisted on. So definitely don't have as much in here as I usually do. I usually have stuff all across the top. I didn't do that this year. I just have been working so hard on trying to get this kitchen done, and it's just not, it's looking really good in person, but it's not filming or photographing good at all, or at least looking authentic to what it truly looks like in person. And that's not happening. It's looking really bright. At least on my end it is. Or, you know, through the camera. But anyway, I've added some greenery here and just tied a little ribbon around my jar of cookie cutters. And that's just a little fake tree. But this is the idea that, I got inspired by Tanya at A Little Charm and a Lot of Sass. And she has a tote, like an old wooden tote thing on her table. And she had her stone fruit in there with some Christmas greens in it. And I thought that was so pretty. So I just used this basket and just stuck some random greenery in there. And then I have that alabaster stone I got, but I also have this wax fruit that I bought, no kidding, 15 years ago, maybe longer, I don't know. But off of Missy at Gable, I think it's called Gable House Goods, something like that. I'm sorry, my mind doesn't remember as well as it used to. Names, so, or shop names, I should say. So I got that wax fruit, and if you smell it, you can still smell the wonderful scent of that beeswax. So I just have that vintage piece of fabric that I use up there on the window. And then in this bowl, I just have some more old kitchen utensils and some vintage cookie cutters. and then in a wood bowl, and then I just put some greeneries there. That's not a real cookie. That come from like Walmart or Target or something years ago. But that's another one of those ornaments my daughter and I made in that bowl right there. And then there's my attempt to make a fake cake. I did that, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that. And it didn't work out too good. It crackled real bad. And I've never attempted to make another one. It was fun, but I've just got to find the time and read up more on how to do a better job. And then those fake cookies, my husband got me last year, I believe. And then I did some of the shredded paper, like Michelle at Uniquely Vintage You tells you or shares with us that she does. And that's such a great idea. And then just some little touches. And on my stove, I've had these little ornaments forever. But just some Christmas towels. And then that little vintage gingerbread cake tin. And over here are my favorite salt and pepper shakers. And see, I didn't get my Joanna Parker out this year. I usually have my Joanna Parker all displayed in here. But this year I didn't get it out. But these little reindeer mugs come from Big Lots a couple of years ago. They're so cute. And then there's Kissin' Santa. And then that one, I wish I still had the other one, but it got broke or lost. Those were my grandma's. Those standing ones. Over here, I just hung a little Christmas bag with my brush collection. And over here is just some little touches. Just a Christmas towel, gingerbread man, little ornament. And then in my dustpan, I have some greens, a little snowman. My Christmas mug towel. And a vintage Santa Claus mug. And that little bitty lamp there that come from Cracker Barrel a couple years ago. And then these little prim trees, I've had that for years. A little skirt. Over here is just some Christmas towels. A little wooden gingerbread man and girl. And then on the coat rack, I just have like this little vintage shovel and some Christmas aprons. And then this stocking that I got off of one of my vendors years ago. That's so cute. And I haven't painted the back door or the coat rack just because I haven't decided what I'm going to do about these cabinets. I'm hoping that on your view that they are looking true, but when I look through it on my computer or on my phone, they look a lot brighter than what they are in person. So here was the little view of the kitchen. I will be back soon with a whole home tour, and it will be music only. So It may change a little bit from here to then, but for now, this is the kitchen. I thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you soon.